I'm Sandi Genovese, and today we are looking at recycling, but we're going to use our recycled grocery bags to make these really adorable country Christmas tree ornaments. I set a whole bunch of them up on the table, and if you look at them closely, you can see here there's an angel. Right above that, it's a teddy bear. Notice that I've gone back and added things like just an ink pad with my finger to create highlights, some ribbon, beads. Here I've just used paper hole punch, in different colors to create what look like the Christmas lights. But when you really look closely, you can see that these ornaments have been stitched so that it feels like they're quilted, which I think makes them look really even more country. Here you can see a Christmas tree and then a snowflake. And finally, this is actually the one that we're going to make today, is the ornament in the ornament shape. Very appropriate. Now, in order to do this, we need first the recycle materials. And so what I did was I just went and I was getting something in the deli section of the grocery store. And so I noticed that they actually have the bags with printing on them. It is perfect for this. I love taking this, and then you can see here, notice that this was this bag, and here is the Christmas tree, and here is the snowflake that you can see right down here. I love having that show. If you don't like, of course, you can always use the flip side. You don't have to use the side with the print information on it, but that graphic pattern, I just think it adds to the design. Now, in order to do this, you need the grocery bag, and then you need some quilt batting, and you want to hold the layers together while you cut it out, whether you're cutting it with scissors or whether you're die cutting it, which is what I did. So I used this spray adhesive, and I sprayed it onto the batting and then fastened it onto the bag and pressed. I'm not actually going to spray it in here because you need ventilation, but you shake it up and then spray the batting again, and then go ahead and place your paper so that you basically have the batting in the middle and you have the paper on both sides. Now I have some to show you that I've done. So here is one for the larger grocery bag, and you can see I've used this to cut several of the other shapes. And when you peel the layers back, here's the bag, here's the batting. It's lightly fastened with the adhesive, but this adhesive won't jam up your machine when you decide to stitch. Now when you do the stitching, let me bring this up and show you. The stitching around the edge, it doesn't need to be precise. It's just the basic stitch on the machine, not zigzag, nothing fancy. And in this case, I just went around the circle shape. It's not perfect. If you flip to the back side, you can see I didn't even go up here because this ribbon is going to hold the top portion together. We're going to actually decorate this backside, and you'll see how to put this together. But first I thought I would show you, since I die cut mine, I thought I would show you that process. So here is one where I've already got the bag lightly attached to the batting that's in the middle. So everything is, I've used the spray adhesive, and I'm going to just bring up my die cutting machine, and I'll take the ornament die, and all I'll do, I want to try to do this sideways so you can see. So I'm going to place the cutting pad on the bottom, and then the die, then the product that I'm cutting, in this case the bag. I can see the pattern of the blade, so I want to make sure that I place everything so that blade is going to cut. And then I'm going to place another cutting pad over the top. I have a fresh new cutting pad for the top. And I'm going to go ahead and just roll this through the machine. And because the machine's kind of in the way, I'm going to go ahead, put it back here, out of the way. And here you can see that now it's perfectly cut out the ornament. Let me move some of this other stuff out of the way. And now it's time, if I had the sewing machine here, I would go ahead and I would stitch around the edge. If you're not going to stitch it, just use an adhesive that's stronger, that will hold the layers together, because you don't have the added benefit of the extra stitching to hold everything together. So at this point, in order to create something that looks like this, I thought I would go ahead and share with you the steps that I used. I'll punch out the center, which is part of the die. It cuts that part out. And I cut out of 2 different shades, out of a red and a green. I've cut out just a section with little scraps. I've gone back and I'm going to use my scissors. I wouldn't normally put the detail in white, but it helps you to see. And I'm going to leave the white showing because I sort of like the look of the pattern. It makes it look a little bit like pattern paper that has a white edge to it. So I'm going to go ahead and trim. And then for added detail, I'm going to trim along this perforation. But first, I'm going to take the same white pen, and when I want to add stripes that I want to feel straight, I'm going to start roughly in the middle and go both edges. That way I'm less likely to get too terribly crooked and slanted with my stripes. Although, you know what, the beauty of making it yourself, you want it to look somewhat handmade. You don't want it to look so perfect that it looks like it was just made at a factory. It's going to be easiest to go ahead and put adhesive on this right now while it's still in a big piece. So I'm going to add adhesive to the back. And then there is, in fact, you can see it a little clearer if I flip it over. There's a perforation line. Well, I can't see it too much, all that clear on either side. But I'm following the line, the perforated line on the die itself, just to add more detail. I'll use my tweezers so my fingers are sort of out of the way. And then I'm going to go ahead and fasten this right over the top. Here on the green, you can sort of see the perforation, the line that was there. I'll add this so it ends up looking like I had red and white striped pattern paper, which was a lot more expensive than just making it yourself. And since you're only using a little piece of it, it's not like you have to spend a lot of time on that part. I'm going to add more adhesive and place this over the top. And then I'm going to go back and add the details. All I did was took snowflakes, and I have snowflake punches. There's also lots of dies that have snowflakes on it, and it's not difficult to cut a snowflake out by hand. I know it seems like a lot of detail, but there's no curvy edges. They're all straight, so it really goes together pretty quickly and easily. So I'm going to go ahead and position. I like to do odd numbers. I like how that looks the best. So I'm going to go ahead and put 3 snowflakes down on this ornament. I'll place the 3rd snowflake down, and then to give it a little bling, I'm going to go back and place inside different colors of little rhinestones. These are gorgeous, and they're already sticky on the back, which is so easy. So I'm going to just I'll do a red, a blue, yellow, nice assortment, and press on those. So you can see the decorating is pretty easy. And then this ornament already has a hole. So what I've done is I've taken a length of ribbon and I've tied a knot on one end, and I'm going to just take the looped end and push it through. And then I'll try to do this so you can see. I'm going to bring this end through that hole and then just pull. And depending on how long you want this, of course, you can make it a much shorter ribbon if that's what you need to create your ornament. Now, if you want to do this, but you don't have a sewing machine and you don't want to deal with the quilting, you don't want to buy the spray adhesive, it really is awfully cute even without the quilting. So here are some samples that I made the exact same way, but when I flip them over, if I start here with the tree, you can see that I just used cardstock, colored cardstock on the back to add the extra thickness. Otherwise, once again, this is just from a really like an 1/8 inch hole punch. And here, this is the one we just made, but just with red on the back. And it does give you a place where I can write information about this particular Christmas. Here you can see the snowflake, and I used the CVS, the logo on the bag. I purposely wanted the red color in there. And once again, no quilting, but a really cute little ornament. You know, if you have paper grocery bags in your kitchen, you can recycle them into country style ornaments.